Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be exploring the ancient relics of ancient Egypt and exploring the depths of the Amazon. That's right, we're going to the Bolton Museum.
Did you hear that, Billy?
I did, Mr. Official. Bolton Museum. That means history.
Fish!
What?
Actually, Mr. Official, you're right.
What? Fish? In a museum?
Yeah, the Bolton Museum doesn't just have a history of ancient Egypt, but it's also got an aquarium. Come on, I'll show you.
Oh, lad, they've got eels.
Eels! These aren't eels, they're dragons.
Well, actually, these are ornate birches, also known as dragonfish, swamp dragons, or even dinosaur eels.
So they are eels then?
No, they aren't.
But they aren't moving. Why not?
They're nocturnal.
Nocturnal?
Nocturnal is when E, fish turn invisible in the day, B, fish sleep during the day, or C, fish dig into the sand and hide during the day. The answer is B! These fishy fellas are nocturnal fish, meaning that they are asleep during the day and awake at night. That's right, Mr. Official, and, well, these are asleep right now, so why don't we go and check out some different fish?
Transphobia is rising in the UK. Hate crimes are increasing every year.
Understand that gender dysphoria is a very, very serious and upsetting thing, but they cannot actually be women.
And it's because we
And
are
I know
conscious
that a
of
woman
identity politics
is a woman.
On
that
both the
we
left
can
and the right
take
sides
on
of the
and
political
stand up
spectrum
to
argue that
this
trans
woke
rights are a
nonsense.
threat to women's rights.
It was kind of a lonely time, very like kind of isolated.
I think it's monstrous. The rates of suicide amongst trans teens is horrendous, and what people expressing who they are.
It was just like a sort of I never talked to any like teachers or anything about it, but there was like a whole sort of thing of like everyone's like, no, that's stupid, like that just doesn't happen to anyone here.
The way that British society views anything as different, it's always been like, I mean, this is a Japanese saying, but the nail that that sticks out the most is the one to be hammered down the hardest, isn't it? So it's like, anything that we're not comfortable with or used to, we need to eradicate and eliminate, because that informs our sensibilities. Who's that for you to decide? People's bodies? Because we did that with women in the 60s, and everyone's like, oh no, these issues aren't interconnected. They are. Everything's connected. If you're not here for trans people, you're not here for even cis women, the people that you claim to protect.
There was a trans radiologist from the 20s called Alan L. Hart, very famously like developed treatment that saved thousands of people from tuberculosis. But in his spare time, when he wasn't like saving people, he wrote like trans literature. And I think he has a quote, I can't remember it specifically, says, "We're all given a like lump of clay to work with and to do with what we want." And I don't know, I think that like transcends like trans issues and stuff. Like, your body is your own and you have to exert your autonomy over it. You mustn't let other people tell you what you can do with your body, because freedom is such a fleeting thing, but at the end of the day, like, no one else can make me do this with my hands, no one can say what happens to this body other than me.